Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay City Council has sided with Soccer Northwest over administration, choosing land next to the auditorium as the preferred site for an indoor turf facility. And that's not all. After significant public pushback, council and staff have also opted not to close any outdoor rinks at this time. City Hall reporter Vasilios Bellos joins us live in studio with the details. Vasilios.
Thanks, Ryan. Administration's report estimated Soccer Northwest proposal will cost anywhere between $33 and $53 million, though the majority of councils still feel it will be cheaper than a Chapels Park facility. The vote was unanimous, with the last-second amendment also putting more of a focus on an environmentally friendly facility beside the auditorium. A clear determination from City Council to push forward the indoor turf facility.
We've done nothing for the last 8 years. So I can understand the frustrations.
With user groups sharing that sense of urgency.
We have all failed the community because we haven't been able to provide them a location to play.
A pivotal decision at Monday's meeting saw council go against administration's recommendation to pursue the turf facility at Chapels Park, instead deciding on Soccer Northwest's concept beside the community auditorium as the preferred option. The city estimated Soccer Northwest's proposal would cost somewhere between $33 and $53 million, compared to the organization's projection of $20 million. Many around the table still felt the option would be cheaper than Chapels, with Councillor Trevor Gertuga believing this is what council and the community wants.
So let's just go with the cheapest option, and it doesn't have to be Taj Mahal. It's what the people are asked for. Give our children somewhere to play. Give us somewhere where we can, somewhere we can play in the winter.
Positively optimistic, but fearful because of past experience. When it comes down to it, this building will do essentially the exact same the other building did at a much cheaper rate.
There was a compromise prior to the vote for Soccer Northwest's proposal, which will see the structure updated to city design standards for energy efficiency. Administration will now report back by November with a proposed financing plan for the project and renewed public consultation by the first quarter of 2024. There was also a decision on Monday to not close 31 of the 39 outdoor city rinks, which faced strong community opposition. Councillor Casey Atraney did consider a motion to close 17 sites in December of this year.
Prior to the 2022-23 season, 11 outdoor rinks were identified as being consistently well below our rates. So because of that, I'd like to see some outdoor rinks close on the basis of quality and that climate change and usage.
Atraney ended up pulling that motion, though, saying it may be something to consider in the future. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
There's a change on the Thunder Bay Police Services Board. City Councillor Shelby Chung is being replaced by Councillor Casey Atraney. Chung is stepping down to pursue a master's degree. She says it won't affect her other council duties.
Police board by far took up the bulk of my time. Like I said, it's about 1 day a week on average. They're expecting, 2-day workshops here, meetings, hiring new chief. There's always something going on during the day. I was taking unpaid leave from my work, ran out of vacation time. It's just, there's, lots of work, little of me.
Chung first joined the board in May of last year. Atraney will join fellow city appointees Mayor Ken Boschkoff and Denise Baxter on the board. Atraney says she isn't ready to comment on the police force's relationship with the Indigenous community or on outside panel recommendations, but she says she's committed to learning more about these issues as she assumes the role. She's confident her past experiences will benefit the board.
I get to see more about our community. I think I bring some diversity to the table. Some of the assets that I'll bring, of course, is my healthcare experience, policies and procedures experience, occupational health and safety. But for me right now, it's a matter of reaching out to the police board and asking them to give me all the information so I can catch up and be ready to start working next week. It's our first meeting.
The police board meets again next Tuesday. An elderly woman charged with manslaughter last year in the death of a 91-year-old man at the Bethany nursing home has been declared unfit to stand trial. 85-year-old Harriet Gray appeared in court yesterday after a fitness assessment was ordered earlier this summer. The altercation between Gray and the victim happened in May of 2022. The man sustained serious injuries in a fall and died 6 days later. Thunder Bay Police announced the manslaughter charge against Gray 3 months later, last August. Investigators determined there was enough evidence to lay charges, but acknowledged that it's an unusual case with unique challenges. Now that Gray has been found unfit to stand trial, her case will be heard by the Ontario Review Board. Officials with St. Joseph's Care Group, which operates Bethany, said after the incident that they'd look to improve safety for staff and residents. Thunder Bay Police say they responded to 2 separate auto-cyclist crashes, just a few hours apart yesterday. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries in either incident, but police are reminding everyone, drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians, to share the road and stay alert. One of yesterday's collisions happened at the corner of Arthur and Selkirk Streets just after 3 o'clock, while the other occurred around 6:30 at the Harbour Expressway and Memorial Avenue. Amazingly, nobody was hospitalized in either case. The fall season marks the start of the local United Way's annual fundraising campaign. Today's launch event highlighted last year's results and new opportunities moving forward. Josh Morano reports.
There's another $1,000 in there.
The United Way of Thunder Bay launched its annual fundraising campaign at this breakfast event, encouraging local business leaders and the general public to donate to the cause. The theme once again this year is local love, as organizers look to the community to help individuals who have a need for shelters, food security, and clothing. United Way CEO Albert Brule says the annual campaign, which runs from now until December 31st, is key to their success.
United and Local Love Breakfast is the signal of the start of our fall campaign. The goal is to encourage workplaces, businesses, individuals, service clubs, unions, schools, community groups to rally in support of those in need in our community.
The donation portion kicked off with T-Baytel CEO Dan Topatai announcing they will do a $10,000 matching donation, and within a matter of minutes, all of it had been pledged. Awards were also handed out for last year's participation by businesses and community members. There are plenty of opportunities for the public to participate, including the giant food drive this weekend. Brule encourages those who can to donate their non-perishable items.
We have community collection drop-off locations like fire halls, select community centers, City Hall, Thunder Bay Public Library branches are all participating. A number of businesses are doing a food drive at their place of work.
In our own organization, we've been working with them for years, but they also represent other organizations like Our Kids Counts and Evergreen. We support them as well, but they brought them all to the United Way table, and I think by focusing on the Dewdrop and the other feeding programs that are also connected to the United Way, it brings this local love back into focus as a collaborative engine.
The United Way of Thunder Bay has events going on for the remainder of the year, including the return of the Wasaya Plane Pole and 2 tickets to Shania Twain in Vancouver. Josh Morano, TVT News.
The 2023 Senkan Resource Expo kicked off today with a pre-conference luncheon hosted by the Mining Industry Human Resource Council. The event was held to foster discussions between the mining industry and training providers. Top of mind is the expected increase in activity related to the mining boom and the challenges associated with a lack of skilled tradespeople. The council's Senior Director of Operations, Dana Imbo, says there's a critical need to find people to fill those jobs.
There's a huge skills shortage here. A people crisis is what our board of directors is calling it, and we really need to come together.
Our labor market data proves it, in fact, that there is so much potential out there that we have. It's just a matter of getting those people into that position and building capacity in the communities.
Housekeeper Management is an education institute located in Thunder Bay, and it's an opportunity for Indigenous to learn in their own environment with Indigenous instructors and Indigenous organization.
We're trying to get ahead of the game as much as we can in supporting the high-skilled needs all the way down to entry-level positions at the mine and those that the communities need.
The main activities for the Senkan Expo will take place in and around Fort William Gardens tomorrow and Thursday. With the Latin dance scene exploding both nationally and locally, Alessia Productions is offering a first for Thunder Bay with a Latin night event this coming weekend. Residents will be able to experience an evening of good food, live music, and dancing, all for a good cause. The event will take place on Saturday night at the Da Vinci Center. The main event will feature a live orchestra performing salsa, bachata, and merengue music, while some of Thunder Bay's finest Latin dancers entertain throughout the evening. All proceeds from Latin Night will go to Our Kids Count. Executive Director Jackie Knuff says it's a night that people won't want to miss.
You want to get the VIP because with the VIP you get appetizers, you get a special Latin dance lesson, and it's just going to be a really fun, exciting event. We have a 12-piece orchestra coming in from Winnipeg, which is really exciting, and so there's going to be lots of obviously Latin dance music. They're going to have fabulous Latin dancers, and it's just going to be like just a magical night, so we're really excited about it.
VIP and general admission tickets can be purchased online at latinnight.ca. Thunder Bay's Dan Plexman came very close to losing his life 15 years ago when he came into contact with live wires while working at a Hydro One station in Red Lake, leaving him with 3rd to 6th degree burns on his body. But today, Plexman is a world champion arm wrestler and motivational speaker, sharing his story and becoming an advocate for workplace safety. Joe Sadowski has his story.
When the flames hit, I immediately jumped out of the machine, but I was still attached by my safety harness, so I hung there swinging in midair, burning alive. I was on fire for a few minutes while I hung there by my safety harness, and the safety harness burned completely through, and that released me to fall 17 feet to the ground.
When Plexman was taken to the hospital, he was induced in a coma for 11 days, and the doctors told his family he might have to have both of his arms amputated and that he might have a 13% chance of survival. Fast forward to today, where Plexman defied the odds and made a miraculous recovery. He's now a motivational speaker talking about what happened to him in 2008 and the importance of workplace safety.
I've forged myself a little business here, speaking about my injury and my experience overcoming the challenges. And there's a lot of things I personally could have done that day to prevent this accident. And I want people to realize that they can learn the things that I've learned without having to go through what I've gone through.
Along with his dedication to public speaking, Plexman decided to take up the sport of arm wrestling with the local club here in Thunder Bay, with the goal of having some fun to do during the process of physiotherapy. After getting a taste of the sport, Plexman immediately fell in love with the camaraderie and the competition, and that hobby turned into a lifelong passion where he found himself competing at the World Championships of Arm Wrestling last year in France, where he brought home 2 gold medals.
From moment one walking in the club, I felt accepted, I felt camaraderie, and I was hooked. I loved the sport. It's so much fun. And honestly, from the very first practice, I knew this is a sport for me.
Plexman heads to the World Championships this weekend in Malaysia to defend both of his titles in a tournament that features hundreds of arm wrestlers from around the world. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
Absolutely an incredible story there. Well, Mitch, turning to weather now, it was a chilly day as our run of below average temperatures continues.
Definitely cold. Fall is definitely here. You might be able to get a spiced latte, but colder temperatures. Jackets out today. I didn't bring my jacket. I definitely regretted it. Low of 7. It did make its way up to 14, but that was the high around 5 o'clock. Sitting around 11 for most of the day, and with the wind from the northwest from 5 to 17 kilometers, bringing that north air down, making everything feel pretty cold. Mostly cloudy skies as well, so not a lot of sunshine. Making its way to Thunder Bay to heat up everyone walking outside. Now in the region, also fairly cold out west in Kenora, Dryden, and Fort Frances. Just seeing some clouds like Thunder Bay throughout the day. It's going to stay cloudy heading into the night, while Atikokan and Upsala even cooler, sitting at 10 in Upsala at the moment. Now fairly sunny as we head farther northwest, in Red Lake at 15, making its way to Suluk and Pickle Lake. Also seeing some wind from the northwest up to 20 kilometers an hour with partly cloudy skies. That's going to continue tonight. While Armstrong, they saw some rain throughout the day as a system made its way farther east, pushing past Greenstone. That system has made its way further east away from the area, so just clouds sticking around, but those temperatures definitely cooling down with the rain, and the rain is sticking around in Sault Ste. Marie at 14. They saw pretty light rain throughout the day as the system kind of swirls farther east in the region, so they're going to see rain heading into tomorrow. That's really not going to go away anytime soon. As for Thunder Bay, temperatures down to 5 tonight, getting fairly cold. We are under a frost warning as well. It's going to be fairly clear overnight, and the wind is going to pick up from the northwest from 9 to 19 kilometers an hour. But the good news is this is the coldest it's going to be throughout the week. I'll have those details in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks, Mitch. I'm looking forward to things warming up a little bit as we move toward the weekend. Well, after the break, we'll bring you the latest from Morocco, where the death toll from that deadly earthquake has now risen to nearly 3,000 people. That's after the break.